All right, let's get some analysis. Global climate policy lead over at CARE International, Sven Harmeling, joins us now from Bonn in Germany. Sven, good to have you on the show. I'm assuming this is the first time that we're seeing so many publications sort of come together and make the same statement.
Yeah, I think this is really another wake-up call, but that you see so many medical journals come together. I think it's very clear. It's an outcry basically, and also calls on all decision makers, whether in the political space or in corporations, to listen to this and to act and no longer ignore the science.
Sven, so often when you read sort of stories on the climate crisis, there's going to be more forest fires, we're going to see massive flooding, there's going to be severe drought. But with a lot of these ones, it sort of underlies the direct impact on our health, our human beings' health. How do you think this catastrophic warning when it comes to health, how do you think this will play into the role in the lead up to the COP26 climate summit in Glasgow?
Well, I think on the one hand, it's very important to hear such messages from, let's say, not only the usual suspects, and that's why this statement is so important. And those people also working in the medical space, for example, working in hospitals, etc., they see how people are really affected by this on a daily basis, whether it's the smoke from the fires, whether it's the heat waves. And we've seen cities in the last years, whether in India or Iraq or elsewhere, where you have new heat records and where people, it makes it more and more difficult to basically survive. And I think this is something which basically the major governments on this planet, from the G20 countries and other countries, now really must wake up to and quickly accelerate moving away from fossil fuels. At the same time, also invest into building resilience and helping poor communities to better deal with those impacts we can no longer avoid.
Sven, the science on this is undisputable. I mean, the general consensus is that a global increase of 1.5 degrees Celsius above pre-industrial levels would basically be catastrophic, and in some cases, possibly impossible to reverse. Are you hopeful that we can achieve this?
I'm definitely hopeful that more and more decision makers, more and more corporations understand that we cannot afford not to try this, because the cost will be so much higher than taking the necessary actions. The cost for this generation, for future generations, in terms of human suffering and ecosystems being destroyed. And I think that's where we really need also the step change, basically, that people understand. We need to have a different look at the economics of climate change, and that basically acting now is much cheaper, both in terms of lives, in terms of health, and also economic costs, than continuing to wait. And so it's very important that countries really start, pulling out subsidies out of fossil fuels and instead invest them into preparation, helping particularly vulnerable groups like women and girls in many countries be better prepared, and really supporting also those people and communities who are advocating for this change and who are often already doing the change on the ground.
Yeah, act now so we don't have to pay a higher price later. All right, Sven Harmeling, thank you very much for joining us here on the NewsHour.